everybody. Hopefully you guys can see me okay. This is an attempt of me streaming on Facebook and YouTube in a start of showing exactly how I clean shoes. I'm going to do videos about or lives about how I do packing orders and stuff like that. So there may not be anybody here, but I'm just going to talk through my process of cleaning shoes. A lot of people have asked for lives of cleaning shoes or videos of cleaning shoes, and those videos will be made as well. But if you're interested in a long haul video of cleaning shoes, that's the plan. So for the next hour, I'm probably going to sit here and clean shoes for an hour. So I'll try and talk while I do it. If there's nobody to talk to, I will just kind of sit here and you guys can watch me do stuff. But that being said, let's get into it, I guess. Basically, if you haven't seen already, I started purchasing. I purchased a bunch of these military boots. So in this video, I'm going to try my best to clean these boots so that way you can see it. I may have to adjust the camera a little bit. I'm now realizing that the way that I normally do it, you're not going to be able to see it. So you may not be able to see as much of me unless I swing it this way. It's really dark over there. But that's kind of the idea. It's basically so that way you can see exactly what I'm doing, how I'm cleaning stuff, and how I clean boots and orders and just like that. So a lot of these are boots, and then we'll get on to sneakers in a minute. But a lot of the time, the prep work is done before anything else is done. So eventually, I'll get these untied. So every single pair for me. Oh, look, Wayne's here. Hello, Wayne. For me, the biggest thing is to make sure that the laces are tied in a way that they're able to be removed quickly, but they're also in a way that removes the laces from the photos. So I always tuck all of my laces into the boots just like this, and then they will sit just kind of like this. So that way, once I put these in here, so I took about 4 years ago, I took a pool noodle and I cut it in half, and they're the best shoe inserts for boots like this that you can't put boot trees into, which look like this. So I put boot trees into like expensive boots and stuff like that, but these will not fit into that just due to the thing, but they fit perfectly with the pool noodle. Wow! I'm not even going to recognize you for saying that, Brad, because that's mean. Man said he sucks. So yeah, basically there's a little bit of like wear and tear on the shoe. I just try and cut off as much of the feathers and stuff. You can also use a fabric shaver. These are actually in really good shape. I'll still clean them like I normally would, just purely for the aesthetic side of things. And it will allow me to just clean up this height. So basically, I'll kind of explain when I do it. This is a white erase marker. You can get these on Amazon. I think I actually have a link to them in my page bio. But you can use these, and then I use Grandma's Sneaker Cleaner for literally everything. I shared this to my Facebook page. I hope 100 people join and ask a million questions. Well, I appreciate that, Wayne. Thank you. That's very kind of you for doing that. Basically, my goal is to try and show as many people how to clean shoes very easily as possible, because it is easy. Wayne makes it look really hard, though. Wayne complains about the fact that shoes are too hard to clean, and he doesn't want to do it, so he just sticks them in the washing machine, and they kind of get sort of clean. Or if you put a little bit of elbow grease into stuff, it ain't that hard to clean it. And especially if you pick up cleaner shoes, they're then easier to clean. So, after a little bit of run through with brushes and stuff, I'll move this out of the way so you don't see it. That is what the bottom looks like. I don't know how good of quality. Hopefully you guys can see that well, but those look really good. So I'm able to clean the sides up to make them look really good, and then they're ready for photos now. But that's just a quick way of how to show how I clean boots like this. So they're really simple to clean just like this, and we'll do the other one. Typically, it doesn't take me that long because I'm explaining it. It takes me a little bit longer. But yeah, I use Grandma's Sneaker Cleaner religiously. It's basically the only cleaner I've used. I'm probably gonna do a video at some point testing Dawn Power Wash. A lot of people I know use that and they swear by it, and I've never used it before. And it's, I don't know. We'll definitely take a look and see. But a lot of questions that I get also is how to remove that Sharpie mark. So you can do it two ways. First way that I try and do it is the acetone. So you can get these pretty much anywhere. You get Target, you get Walmart, get it pretty much anywhere. I just put it onto like a towel, just like this, and just scrub into it. Some soles will allow you to do it, and some soles won't. But it's pretty much removed. You can barely see it. On a photo, you may not be able to see it. But we'll just go again with the Grandma's Sneaker Cleaner and just rub into it for a little bit. What about stains on suede? So I am notorious for not picking up shoes that have any issues with suede. I understand that there's a lot of shoes that could be picked up and are worth it. I think suede is the hardest material to clean out of like cloth and leather and all that stuff. So if stuff is stained on suede, it's a no-go for me. I know that there's suede cleaners. I don't use any of them because truthfully, I don't think it's worth all the effort if you're just using it for one thing. So can't see it at all. Looks clean. I don't know. Is my camera okay? There's 32 people in here. So hi. Thank you for being here. Can you guys see it, or do I need to pull it closer? Because I can pull it closer. You're just not going to see me at all, which is fine. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind pulling it closer. There's 32 of y'all in the chat, so if you wouldn't mind dropping questions and stuff like that, so I'm not bored talking to myself, I would appreciate that. But I can pull it closer. If you can't see it, I'll pull it a little bit closer. If you can see it, then I'll just leave it at this angle. But I don't know how much closer I can get. More people in here than Wayne's live? I don't believe that for a second. That might be better. We're just doing a no Ethan cam, which is fine. But I guess I can pull it. So how do I do this? I mean, like we can't see the price anymore. Good tips. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. So I hit show. Does that go? Ah, see? Look at that. That's cool. See, I'm learning. I haven't used Restream before. I don't think. Maybe I did a long time ago. But I'm learning how to like show it and stuff like that. Somebody said better. Great. Okay. It's the same type of deal. So for the midsole, I use the white eraser marker. These don't really need it, truthfully. They're fine. But just as an example, just go over it with one and then grab the cloth and rub it around, just making sure that all the soap is off the bottom. Sometimes the soap will like end up there. And just like that, they're all clean. Real resellers have water heaters in their workspace. Yep, that is exactly what that is. That is a water heater. Because real resellers can't afford to get a bigger garage, so they have to work with what they've got. Whatever you did with the camera is better lighting now. Okay, well, I'll just leave it there. I mean, as long as you guys can see it, that should be perfect. I won't bore you with all boots. I have another like 8 pairs of boots. I found these for a really good deal. If you guys know what these are, Wayne likes these. Wayne owns a pair. So these are Yeezy foam runners, and I got them for a steal. I don't know if anybody can see that. I paid $8 for these. And I didn't think they were real at first. And I actually haven't seen a real pair since I actually saw Wayne's. But in the inside there, I don't know if you can see that or not. Right up here, it says foam runner, men's size 6, made in USA. So it's got the Adidas at the bottom down there. And I've already checked them, and they're good to go. So, yes, they've been worn a little bit. But to be fair, I don't take a lot of cleaning because it's rubber. And rubber, for me, is the easiest thing to clean. So a lot of the times, I'm just putting a quick spray over the top of it, and it looks good to go already. I mean, I don't even really need to clean these. These are in good shape otherwise. But that's how I quickly clean shoes just like that. I mean, the rubber ones are super easy, super self-explanatory. I just try and make sure that the bottoms look as crispy as possible. So a spray over quickly and then just rubbing into it really quickly is a lot easier. If you guys have questions about like anything, I have the chat over here, so I can see it. So while I'm talking, I can kind of explain it. Or if you have any questions about specific pairs and how to clean them, if I have a pair, I will do it. Otherwise, I'll just keep talking while I do this. So again, like I said, the rubber ones are super easy to follow. And then I'll turn you around. Basically, when I turn around, this is what my setup looks like over here. So I am putting them onto the shelf, so that way when I go into my photo station, they're all ready to go. So everything in here is in a prepped order, so that way I'm just turning. So I just turn from here. As soon as I clean it, they end up here. And then once I'm taking photos, it's right there. So it's not that hard of a system, or it's a super simple system where I'm not having to turn and then move a whole lot. I'm standing here and I'm able to clean and put stuff away pretty quickly. Okay, so pair of tennis shoes. This is not a good example of dirty shoes because I did a good job sourcing this week, and a lot of the stuff that I picked up is clean. But a lot of people ask how I get the shoes tied in a manner where they look good with the shoe trees in it. So basically what I'll do is I'll take both laces, tie it up pretty tight in there, and then I'll grab the two shoelaces just like this and wrap them around my finger once, and then wrap it through. It's just a simple knot, but a lot of the times this helps a lot when you're actually putting the shoe trees in. So I'll tuck it into the shoe, and then grab the shoe trees from down here. And just as simple as that, they're in, just like that, ready to go. So it makes the shoe look better. It looks like somebody's actually wearing the shoe with the shoe tree in. And as you can see, these don't really need cleaning, but a lot of the times people ask me, how do you get that off? Simple acetone trick, or you can do the Sharpie trick. We'll do the acetone for this one. So it's just a simple scrub over. Magic, right? It's gone now. So these look good. I mean, I don't really need to do much more than what I've already done. Look good to me. So a lot of the time my goal, so I list 20 pairs a day. So a lot of the time my goal is to finish 20 pairs in 40 minutes. So cleaning 20 pairs in 40 minutes. So that gives me about 2 minutes a pair. So a lot of time doing this stuff just becomes very quick. So in this live, I'll be kind of slow, so that way I'm showing every angle and all the things that I am doing, talking through it. But typically I go through about that time frame of 40 minutes and 20 pairs of shoes. And I think that if you're doing more than that, they should be worth more, where you're cleaning. The only reason why you're cleaning more is because, one, you haven't done it before, or two, it's dirtier shoes that will sell for more money. I think 2 minutes per pair is the most amount of cleaning that you need per pair. What did Surf say? Shoe trees are a must. You taught me that. Yeah, shoe trees are a must purely for the reason that it shows the form of the shoe. Now, you can get them on Amazon. You can get a bulk lot of them, and they really do help with the form of the shoe. But like this, okay, great example. This has the shoe tree in it versus this one, right? So this one, you can tell it's deformed here. There's nothing in it. And then it looks kind of floppy through here. Whereas this one, you can definitely tell the difference between which one has a shoe tree in it and which one doesn't. So I think shoe trees are the most necessary part about picturing the shoes. I also think they're necessary for cleaning the shoes. A lot of the times people will clean the shoes and then put the shoe trees in. I think putting them in when you're cleaning them purely shows every single spot that needs to be cleaned. And it allows me to see like what the shoe looks like in full form. So there might be cracks or creases or something like that that I wouldn't be able to normally clean because I didn't see it. So this just allows me to quickly go over it and see exactly what I am looking for when I'm cleaning shoes. So that way when I'm taking pictures, when I put the shoe trees in, I'm not missing anything when I'm going to take photos, if that makes sense. This is funny. People don't have water heaters. The rich people don't. The K-Way shops and the Surf's Up of the world, they don't have water heaters. I'm kidding. But actually, you asked a good question. What about scuffs on leather? It depends. So leather is really tricky. I think that scuffs on leather is one of those things that is all dependent on the type of scuff. So you have a cosmetic scuff, you have a tear, you have a gash, or you have a full-on rip. Now, each of those can be treated differently. A gash is it's a big old significant cut. You've like slipped into something, you've hit something pretty hard. That's gonna be really hard to fix. The simple little scuffs. I don't even know if I have a pair of dress shoes. I might have to go find one. Let's see. I have all these boots in here. I don't know if I have a pair of dress shoes. You know what? These are sort of leather, so, well, it's fake leather. But imagine there's a scuff on these shoes, right? This is what I use. So I use Doc Martens. This is the Wonder Balsam. This is the only leather care that I use for leather at all. A lot of people use a lot of different products. I have used this for 4 years. I buy this, and you truly don't need, I clean hundreds and thousands of pairs of shoes a year, and I think I buy this 2 or 3 times a year. I have used a little bit of it, and I purchased this in December. And all you really have to do is just put a little bit on it. And if there's a scuff, so say this is a scuff here, you just lightly put it on there, right? And then you use it you don't squeeze into it. You just like lightly use the sponge. And again, this isn't like super nice leather, but you can definitely tell that there's a difference in how this was. I don't know how to get this lighting better, but you can definitely tell the shine on that is a little bit better. Now, these like types of tennis shoes and stuff like that, I wouldn't do it on, but that's how I fix like scuffs or leather like wear and stuff like that. Is I use this. I use this religiously. This is the only thing that I use for cleaning shoes that are leather, have leather issues, and or just need the leather polished. I use that for both. So any scuffs that you can kind of like mark over, that's a great use for it. And then, I guess the only other thing that I really haven't talked about is this. So this, I believe, is I don't know if it's it's not a nail file. I think it's like a drill file. I got this like 4 years ago. I actually truly don't know what it's called. Basically, it has like a rounded end on that side, and then on this side it's a little bit more pointy. But it really helps when you're trying to get into like the tread, just like that. You're not going to be really able to see. But in the tricky situations where you've got like dirt and grime in between like some of the tread spots, this is really helpful where you're not having to pick at it with your fingers or anything like this. And it allows you to pick it up and pick it out of those situations where your finger's not able to get in those areas and or the brush isn't able to lift it off of the thing. So super simple clean on these, other than just the tricky parts that had that issue on it. And now the bottom just looks like that. Much better condition than it was. And it looks pretty good now. Somebody asked a question. What is that again? I think it is a drill file. I don't know. Somebody can look this up and tell me. That would be appreciative. I think it's a drill file. It's about that long. So it's really nice for getting stuff out. But it was pretty cheap. I think I only paid like $8 for it, and it's lasted me for, I think I've had this one since I was in college, so 5 years ago. So it's lasted me forever. And like it doesn't have an issue with rusting or anything like that. So that's what I've been using to get stuff out of the tread marks. And then anything else, I'll use the brush, because most of the time the sediment and stuff that's on the bottom of the tread can be lifted pretty easily, which will allow you to move the sediment a lot easier out of it. Do you deep clean insoles? No. I know that there are some people that are very adamant on cleaning the insoles. I think if you buy shoes that have dirty insoles, you're more likely to get a return because of the whole shoe being dirty, not just the insole. So like that's the level of cleanliness. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me see if I can brighten this up. That's the level of cleanliness. Like it's borderline. I mean, these are in really great condition anyways. These Cole Huns are nice. But I don't want to deep clean insoles purely for the reason that you miss stuff. Human error, you miss stuff. So the cleaner the insole that you're picking up originally, the better chance that you're going to have for not have for a return, just because people are really picky about insoles. And so sometimes people will take out insoles to put their own insoles in because they've got custom ones or they prefer certain insoles and stuff like that. So I try and pick up clean insoles. I don't really feel like deep cleaning it. Now, if it's a pair that just needs a once over with like a lint roller or something, I have no problem with that. But I'm not going to deep clean it, if that makes sense. Can you show the products on the name of the front of that white bottle? Yep. So it's Grandma's Sneaker Cleaner. I have this linked in my bio. It's on my Amazon store. I think I get like a 30-cent kickback or something like that if you purchase it through the bio. It supports the channel. So if you guys are interested in that, I have a link to these in the page bio. But these are great. It allows, I mean, I've used this since I started. It's a little bit pricier than what it used to be. Not really sure why. I mean, I guess the economy or whatever, but they, I think it's like $9 for 3 of them. So it's about $3 a bottle, but the bottle lasts a very long time. So that is the story with that bottle. Trying to become a better reseller. Do you have any other items you recommend flipping? So, a lot of the time people, I mean, 2 really good resellers that are in here. I hate saying they're really good, but they are very good. Both of them are very good. And I'm sure there's others in here. But my 2 friends that are in here is K-Way Shop and Surf's Up Finds. You can see them in the Facebook chat there. They both sell clothing. Primarily, that is another great one to get into. There's a lot more clothes than there are shoes. That is just because you have 2 feet and you wear a lot more clothes than you wear shoes. But clothing is a good one. I think it just depends truly on what you enjoy doing. So if you don't enjoy listing, taking pictures of clothing, like I do not like doing clothing at all. That's why I do shoes. Also, that's when I have a Sharpie issue and I can't get through in there. I'll just put a Sharpie over the top of the thing. But clothing's a good one. Electronics is sometimes a good one. You just have to do a lot of testing and know what you're looking for. People in the chat, there's 50 people in here, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you guys so much for being here. What are the categories that you sell in that you would suggest selling in? I know a lot of people do clothing. I know some people do shoes. I know some people do electronics, vintage stuff. There's lots of different ways to do reselling. What do y'all resell primarily? That's the question of the day, I guess. Velcro sorted. Do you promote your listings and at what percentage? I do promote my listings. I'm probably one of the higher percentages that you'll see on the interwebs, on reselling interwebs and all that stuff. I promote at 9%, which is high. But I have to. Basically with shoes, in order, I feel like, now I could be wrong, and some people could have great success at their percentage, but my sweet spot has been 9 or 10% for about a year now. It's a lot, and it's basically Poshmark level fees between the 12% that eBay already charges plus the 9% on the promoted. But it's worth it for me because I sell a lot more shoes that way. So that's my deal. Unfortunately, I pay quite a bit in promoted listing fees, but for me it's worth it because I sell a lot of shoes. So it gets my items in front of people's eyes, and the more shoes I sell, the more money I make. So that's basically on it. Somebody said the return on electronics is killers. That is the main reason why I don't do it. that, they can break something. Somebody doesn't like something. Returns can be very big on thing. I need to figure out a way where I am not shaking the camera. I do apologize. That is going to be inevitable. You just gonna have to shake. Xavier, that's very kind. Thank you. I appreciate it. Xavier, you comment all the time on the posts, and I appreciate it. Also, if you guys are new here, please follow the page. I'm trying to post more videos. I'm trying to post more pictures. I'm going to be trying to do as many lives as I can when I can. Obviously, I got to prioritize the business. But obviously, I'm always here for questions. If you guys have questions, my lives are probably the best time to do it, and or in the comment section of the videos and stuff. But I appreciate it. So if you guys are new from, I know Wayne shouted out the live, which I really appreciate. But if you guys are new here, I would appreciate a follow. That would mean the world to me. What did he say? He had another question. How come you're not scrubbing the crap out of it? Because I have found that the more you scrub into it, the more mess you make. And now maybe it's just the brush that I have, but I feel like every time that I'm not scrubbing the crap out of the shoe, I feel like I get it cleaner by being almost more gentle and scrubbing out rather than scrubbing into the shoe, if that makes sense. Especially with the white erase marker, I used to scrub really hard on it, and it would like kill the white erase marker very quickly. And you kind of just rub with the green, and you kind of just, it's just one of those things where you don't have to rub super hard into it. It's just light hand motions. For me, has always been better in making stuff cleaner, that sort of thing. But that's just how I do it. How do you store the shoes and avoid them getting crushed? Great question. So this is how, let me find a good example. This is how I store my shoes. So every single pair gets put in these clear poly bags. I don't really know what they're called other than poly bags, but they're basically clear poly bags. And then that's my SKU. So if something sells, it's in 7497. If you guys have seen Wayne's videos, I do the exact same thing as Wayne. But I do toe to heel. So that way they fit and they're not crushing against one another. They've got enough space, and then they fit in the boxes, just like Wayne's videos, just like you see a bunch of other resellers. They fit just like this, and then they'll manage to go on like that. But I have if you can see it all the way back here, I have a lot of shoes in inventory that is not in the inventory system yet. Basically, I ran out of room. So a portion of my video content this week, and the reason I'm not posting as much video content this week is because this weekend I'm having to fix my storage system. So yeah, that's not going to be fun. I'm having to purchase a whole new storage unit thing, and I'm having to move stuff and shift stuff, and so it's going to be a nightmare. So do you do this full time? That's my goal. A little tired of the 9-to-5 realm. This is my full-time job. So when I graduated college, I graduated with a marketing degree, and I got married about 2 months after graduating, and I told my wife, I said, can I have a year to make this attempt at full-time? We lived in an apartment. Our rent wasn't as expensive. She has an amazing job, and I was like, let me just try and make this a full-time thing. I think I can make it work. I grinded for a year. I made more than what my marketing degree would first year, and then we built the business, and now we sell anywhere from 5,000 to 8,000 pairs of shoes a year. So yeah, it's full-time gig. I love it. I think it's something that I will do for a very, very, very long time, and it's a bunch of fun. So I enjoy it. But yeah, it's my full-time gig. I started using a drill with a brush head for bottom soles. It was a life changer. I believe it. That is something that I want to invest in at some point. My thing is that I like being very hands-on on it. And I know that a brush can be very powerful. And sometimes it misses stuff, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it gets all of it. But for now, I just use like the hand one, and it's helpful for me. What's your number one shoe selling brand? Great question. It is Nike, and it's Nike by a lot. So I can't find a shoe tree. There we go. It's Nike by a lot. So I use Nifty. If anybody's interested in Nifty, let me see if I have the affiliate code pulled up. Give me 2 seconds, everybody. Sorry. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. I use Nifty. So it'll allow me to what's happening right now? Sorry. Everybody don't freak out. I'm here still. There we go. I'm still here. Maybe I'm not. Okay, basically, I'm not going to be able to get into this right now. Basically, Nifty is great because it allows me to see exactly what brands are my best-selling brands, which ones aren't. I'm able to see all of that stuff, but Nike and Adidas leads by a lot. Like a lot. I sell a lot of Hokas. I sell a lot of all the other brands that I'm sure you're aware of, but Nike sells a lot more than the other ones. And it is something that I was not surprised about because it's the #1 selling brand in the world for shoes. So Nike, Jordans, all that sort of stuff. Nike is my #1 brand. What size poly do you use? So these are the 12 by 15s, I believe. And then the 12 by 18s. So I use both. So 12 by 18s is for larger sizes. 12 by 15s is for pretty much everything else. All of that stuff, all of the cleaning stuff, all of everything is linked in my profile bio. So all of those stuff. Somebody asked about a Sharpie. What do you use to take Sharpie off the bottom? See, great question. So look, there's somebody put a white Sharpie on there. And I use a rag. And I use professional nail polish remover, acetone, 100% pure acetone. I'll just put it straight onto the thing. It takes about 3 or 4 rubs to get it off. I left a little bit by accident. And there you go. It's gone. That is what I use. It's pretty simple. Now, sometimes, obviously, they are a little bit harder to use, but acetone is my #1 thing that I use. So Xavier said, wow, that's incredible. I go to school now for business administration, but too much stuff going on. I get it, dude. I was very set. So I had done soccer. So I played soccer in college. And then I needed a job that I could work on that I didn't have to show up to, that I could do on my own time. And reselling was the thing. And then I got into shoes while I was playing college soccer, and shoes stuck. And I got pretty good at it. And it became the full-time gig out of school. And I haven't looked back since. So I love the fact that I have that degree. Business marketing helps me a lot when I'm making decisions for my business. But yeah, that's my backstory. Oh, these are going to be a different type of clean. North Face boots. Let's see. Once it's in your blood, you never stop. 26 years in here. That's awesome, Edward. I may have missed this, but why are you putting the shoe things in each shoe after cleaning them? Is that for pictures? Great question. It's not actually before. So I put them in before cleaning them purely so that way I can see every single piece of what the shoe would look like if somebody's foot was in them. And then that helps me clean the shoe in a better way. So that way I'm able to see all the dirt and grime in the shoe. So just like this, if this lace will let me pull it, there we go. Just like this, I'll tie the laces just like that. And then that's when I put the shoe tree in. So the shoe tree will go in like that. And you can see the difference between what the shoe looks like without the thing in there versus what it looks like with it in. It actually looks like somebody's in there. So now these will be used when obviously I'll keep these in for when I have photos and stuff like that. But this is how I use it. So that way I can go in and clean the items just like that. Let me see. Oh, there's a bunch of questions. I appreciate you guys asking questions. I am trying. This is me back after a very long time of not doing this. So I appreciate you guys being here. Give me some grace if I don't get to your question fast. What do you recommend me to do? Because I take a really long to clean shoes. I'm really perfectionist, and even that people still complain I don't clean them good. I would say if you're taking a long time and you're a perfectionist, like I have ADHD, I try and clean my shoes the best they can be. You're never going to be perfect. Somebody will always complain that the shoes are not like new. Your goal is to get them as close to that point as possible, but not overstress yourself. So here's a great example, right? I scrubbed over that, took me like 3 seconds. There's still marks right here. There's marks right here. I can't clean that out. That's just going to be left there. I could sit there and scrub at it for an hour and it's not going to come out. So sometimes you just got to move on. It's also a lot of practice. I've done this I've cleaned shoes and done shoes reselling for almost 4.5 years now, full time. So this kind of thing is just I'm quick at it just because I've done it for a long time, but it's all about practice and it's all about the stuff you're using too. A lot of the time people will use products that's cheaper, and that's kind of the reason why stuff isn't getting clean. That's my advice. It's all about practice. I wouldn't worry about too much. You're selling used shoes. People need to expect used shoes. Now, that still comes with the responsibility of cleaning them well. So don't just wipe them over once and then you go, oh yeah, these are good. Like, you still need the responsibility of looking at them and going, are these clean enough? But you don't need to sit there and clean them for 10 minutes. See, just like that. Gets the dirt and grime off. Pretty simple. How often do you source and how many hours per day? Great question. So it depends on the week. There are some times where I only have to source one day because I get enough stuff. You guys have seen potentially the photos that I post where I fill my car up and I don't need to source. And then there's weeks like this week where I didn't get as much stuff and I may have to source a couple more times. But on Wednesdays, I will source from 7:45 in the morning until 1:45. So whatever that is, 6 hours. So sometimes it's only 6 hours. Sometimes it's 12 hours. Sometimes it's 10 hours. Sometimes it's 5 hours. It just depends. Depends if I get what I need. So nice to see a person content while working for a living. That's my aim. I spend forever cleaning shoes, by the way. I must cut down the time and not overthink. A great thing to do. And this is a good suggestion I forget who asked it before, but a great thing to do is to set a timer for yourself. So you can do if you have an iPhone, I don't know about Androids, but I'm sure you can do it. It's probably a universal thing with a clock or whatever, but you can set a timer on your phone so we can do it together. So you set like one of the stopwatch timers. And we'll start it now. So right now, that timer is going. My goal is to have this pair of shoes finished within 2 minutes. It should not take me that long, but that's my goal. So right now we're at 11 seconds. And my goal is to get everything. So I'll take a look at the shoe really quickly. So I'll take one shoe at a time, see what's missing. So right here, there's a scuff here and there's a scuff here. And that's stuff that I know that I can get out with acetone just based on the material. See, that white part came out just like that. And that white part just came out just like that. So the air bubbles on 270s acetone is really great for. And it allows you to get stuff off that normal spray clean won't get off. So I would actually consider these pretty clean. Now, some people may not. So we'll take it. If we're going to go perfectionist with this, right? We're going full-blown perfectionist. That's a lot better, right? Very clean. They look a lot better. We are a minute in, right? So that's 1 minute in. Again, I'll take 2 seconds, look at the shoe. This is another one of those where acetone is going to be my friend for the air bubble. And just making sure that I get all of these signs clean. This one's a little bit dirtier on the midsole. Quick little rundown there. Same thing here. Again, there's a little piece of wood right there. So use that little drill bit. Get it up out of the midsole. There we go, just like that. Quick little spray down. Making sure that all of the sides are cleaned, and then making sure that all of the soap is gone. And that is done. 1 minute and 51 seconds. So that's my goal. So on that stopwatch timer, what you can do is you can immediately hit reset, and you just keep doing that over and over and over and over and over again. And that's how I got faster. So I used to start, when I first started, my goal was 4 minutes of a pair, right? And sometimes shoes take that long. Sometimes shoes will take 4 minutes. I give myself 3 minutes per boot. So if I have a pair of boots, I give myself 3 minutes. Tennis shoes, I give myself 2 minutes. And you just time yourself. And then that allows you to not like look at your phone, dilly-dally, stuff like that. Like you've got a purpose. And your goal is to clean it at a certain amount of time. And then when you get to a certain point, like I don't need that timer anymore. I keep a timer on my phone to make sure that I average it out, but I don't need a stopwatch. So I'll put a 20-minute timer on, and by the time that 20-minute timer is done, I need to have finished 10 pairs of shoes. That's my goal. So that's exactly how I do it. That's literally the thing. Xavier says, do you have any shoes right now that you could clean with scratches with acetone? I just did that. It was like it was meant to be. I just did that with those pair of 270s. So that was perfect. What about stains on white shoes? Do you ever throw them in the washer? Yes. Obviously, I cannot do that now. But a great thing that I use, so these are white shoes. I cannot go, wait, I might have them. Hold on. 2 seconds. I do have another pair. I'm glad that I have another one in here. So for stuff that I use in the washing machine, this is the best stuff in the world. Again, this is linked in my bio. I get a little bit of kickback if you use it. I would appreciate it if you did. If you don't, no worries. But it's Shout Action Advanced Gel. It used to be called Action Gel. Advanced Gel. This stuff you just spray on the shoes, take out the insoles, spray on the shoes, put it in with a towel or towels, spray it on the shoes, and I kid you not, the majority of stains that are on shoes like this is beyond me. They'll get clean. This stuff is magic. And I put it in the washing machine and it's magic. So Shout Advanced Gel. If you want to support me a little bit, I would appreciate it. But it's in the link on the bio of the page. But yeah, that's what I use for stuff in the washer. It is brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant. Also, when you shop for shoes and always do the twist test, that is very true. Because they will dry rot. So you just twist. I'll show you with these. So you have a pair of shoes. If you want to make sure, you can either do it one of two ways. You grab top part here, bottom part here. You can twist this way, twist this way, or if you're really strong, you twist that way. And if they're dry rotted, they'll break through here. You can definitely tell that they're dry rotted. Oh, Lord, what did you want? I heard you sniff shoes at the thrift store. How true is this? I heard, well, I can't tell what I heard about you. I heard that you go to the used underwear section and you smell them there. So I think we need to have the conversation, Wayne, about that more than me sniffing shoes at the thrift store. I think we need to have that conversation. That's an unfortunate conversation that we need to have. Do leather or canvas shoes bring in more money? Depending on the brand, sometimes. There are some leather shoes that sell really well for Nike, and then there's some canvas shoes that sell well. The material is not necessarily the be-all, end-all, unless it is a trending model. So these Peak 6000s used to be a really trendy model. These still will sell really well. But like a couple of months ago, these could have sold for over $100 pre-owned. They won't do that now. But shoes like this definitely have, the models are more important than I think the models are more important than what is the word that I'm looking for? Material. That's what I'm looking for. Do you have a minimum dollar amount of profit per pair when you're sourcing, or percentage ROI? Great question. My goal, my average profit is $28 a pair. So that's my goal. Sometimes you get less than that. Sometimes you get a lot more than that. $28 per pair is my goal. Obviously, ROI is important with that. But let's see. So for the month of, I'm using Nifty right now. And I can show you this in a second. But for my analytics, let's see. Go to my insights. We'll do the last 7 days, right? So my sell-through rate, that's almost as important as the profit. Yeah. So it's like 68% sell-through rate. And then see how Nike is way and above everything else. Adidas is 14, New Balance is 10, Jordan's, Brooks. Hoka's not even in that top selling brands. How do I do this? You can do it usually. Maybe I don't have it on here. Maybe Nifty doesn't do it this way. On my spreadsheet, I can tell you. So I have a spreadsheet that I made that's separate from Nifty. They used to sell. I don't do that anymore. But let's see. Yeah. So right now, my average profit per unit is quite wild on this month. But last month it was $26.50. With that's my profit margin 43.9, and this month is $51, which is kind of nuts. But I actually think that's wrong. That is wrong. Sorry, that's not right. They have the wrong thing in there. $27. That's better. That sounded more like it. Yeah, it's $27. So anywhere from that $26 to $27 mark is my aim profit margin. What do you spray? I think I answered all of that. How do you know what shoes to pick and what sizes? Great question. So that is called market research. So knowing what brands to look for, you can watch YouTube videos about it. You can look at my favorite market research, and I know Disney is not accessible to a lot of people, but Disney is my favorite place to go and do market research, purely for the reason that I can go there and just people watch. I see what people are wearing. I see what types of shoes they're wearing, and that really helps me pick or decide for the year what types of shoes that I'm going to pick, and then also just watching trends on social media. The only social media I have now is Facebook. I got rid of all the other ones just as a distraction's sake. But yeah, you can look on social media to pick up the models, stuff like that. So that's what I do. Did you say throw in a towel with the shoes? Yes, absolutely. Do not throw the shoes in just by themselves with the washing machine. They need to go in with towels. And I would also suggest if you're going to put them in the washing machine, don't just put them one. If you've got a couple of pairs, that's much better than doing just one pair, in my opinion. So that way you're not wasting a load every single time you need to just clean one. I would just build up a bulk of them. My washing machine can do about 9 pairs at a time, plus 2 or 3 towels. Specifically, what is the spray on your table? That's Grandma's Sneaker Cleaner. So that's the one that I use to clean all my shoes with. That is in the link in my bio. Sorry, I need to pull that up. Yeah. How many thrift stores do you source from a week? That depends. I answered that earlier. But it depends on the week. There's sometimes where I can source 8. There's sometimes where I source over 20. It all depends on what I get from certain stores. I drive around a lot. So I know a lot of people think that I'm from one place, but I will drive around a lot to get a bunch of stuff if I have to. I used to drive, when I was in school, I used to drive 4 hours, 2 hours to the location that I would go to, 2 hours back, plus another, so more than 4 hours, like probably a total of like 6 to 8 hours of total driving just around just to find shoes. Thank you, Xavier. I appreciate you. What's your average buy cost per pair? Great question. So it changes every single week. I used to do monthly. So my monthly, I did that about 2 years ago, where I would just average out my profit or my buy cost monthly. That became very hard to track because I was selling so many shoes. That became very hard to track. So what works for me is weekly. My average is last month. I think my average was like $14. I think this month is going to be closer to 15, which is a lot. I know that's a lot of pairs, lots of money for shoes, especially because that is annoying. That noise is the worst noise. That noise is when you know that you're out of spray on the wide erase marker. See, it's a lot better. But so I have to pick up 140 pairs a week because I list 20 a day. So that's 20 a day, 7 days a week that I list every single day. So in order to do that, you can do the math on that. So I have to 140 pairs at a buy cost average of around $14 or $15. That's how much I spend on shoes a week. So when you think about paying up for stuff, just think about me, where I have to spend a lot of money in order to fulfill. So those of you who do clothing, consider yourself lucky. Or those of you who live in a good shoe area that your shoes don't cost that much and you would like to support me and I can buy stuff from you, I would appreciate that. And you don't want to list it and stuff like that, I'm like dead serious about that. There's 33 people in here. If there are people, I'm not even joking, that want to source but don't want to list and don't want to clean and don't want to do all that stuff, but want to just source and just have stuff, or if you list clothing and you find shoes out but you don't like doing clothing, I buy a lot of stuff from people that ask me to buy on Facebook, and I've been looking for people that I can purchase stuff from. So if that interests you at all, message me, because I'm trying to find connections where I can buy bulk shoes that are stuff that I would normally buy that I don't have access to. So that is a shout out to the world. If anybody has any access to that, or if they don't want to get rid of shoes that, well, let's not say that because then I'll get all the bad stuff. But if people want an avenue where they don't have to list shoes and I can buy them from them and it's brands that I would normally buy, definitely interested. By the way, Grandma's laundry cleaner is also, I have never used their laundry cleaner. I bet it would be good though. It's common to see knockoffs in luxury shoes. Have you ever purchased knockoffs on the types of shoes you resell? I actually did, Jorge. Is it George or Jorge? I'm assuming it's Jorge. But I have. Unfortunately, I made a video about a pair of shoes that I spent $500 on. And yeah, they were knockoffs. I did get my money back, or I'm in the attempt of getting my money back for them. But I have done that. They do get faked, and you just have to be careful. I made a video explaining what happened with that situation. So if you're interested in watching that video, it's like, I think I posted it yesterday or the day before. And it just explained the whole situation. I didn't have internet, but there's apps that can basically help you prove the authentication of items, and I was not able to use that. So, do you go to the bins? No. But if somebody goes to the bins and they find good shoes and they want me to purchase stuff from them, I would not be opposed. Not be opposed at all, because people that get the stuff from the bins, their buy cost is very cheap. I do not go to the bins. Nope. Not me. I used to. When I first started, I used to go to the bins, and then we moved, and the bins is now rather far from me and not worth it. Do you sell on Vinted or Grailed? I don't, but I have heard people do well on there. If you sell on Vinted or Grailed and you sell shoes, please let me know how your experience is, because I don't sell on there. I've heard good things. Well, I've heard mixed reviews, truthfully. I've heard some people have really good success on there and some people don't sell anything on there. Do you ever have yard sales or state sales? I like going to yard sales. Do I find anything for me? No. Basically, selling shoes is very hard, because what people want for their shoes is not accurate to what they're worth at yard sales. Thrift stores, different option. Okay, so great example here. A lot of times, I say a lot of times. I try not to, but sometimes I pick up shoes without insoles. I know that sounds weird, but I have a backstock of insoles. So these should fit into these guys. Yep. So sometimes I will keep insoles hidden / waiting for the time that I need it. But I am very specific that when I do have that, I will put it in the description that they are replacement insoles. I do not hide that, because the amount of times that I used to, when I first started, I wouldn't say anything about it and people would get upset that it's not the original insole. So I don't hide it. I tell people that that's exactly what I've got. And yeah, so you can buy shoes, but you also can buy them on Amazon. I might not have the link to the ones that I use, but I buy bulk insoles from Amazon, and they're very helpful for situations just like that. I think I'm all caught up. I think Xavier asked a question about retail. Retail shoes in my area of the world is very competitive, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But the Nike outlet, where a lot of people will like say like, oh yeah, the Nike outlet's like the best place to go. You get all these shoes and stuff like that. There's people that will quite literally run and try and grab as many shoes as possible. And they'll run and they'll cut and they'll fight people for shoes. And that's just not what I want to do. So that's truly the reason why I don't do it. I enjoy my lane. My lane is fine. I don't have an issue with it. Not at all. Do you list your items yourself or do you have someone help you? Great question. So I list everything myself, but I use Nifty. Let me see. I think I might be able to access it here. What is your name? Jabez, maybe? Jabez? I'm sorry. I'm really bad at names. So if I mess up your name, please don't hate me. But let's see. I think I copied it. I'm going to type this in the chat. Basically, that link that I just sent right there, that's the link to Nifty. I use it to list literally all of my inventory. So I list from the Nifty platform. And at one point this week, I might do a Nifty listing live. I'm going to try and do a little bit of everything. So I'm going to do a cleaning live tomorrow morning. I think I'm going to do a packing live, the stuff that sold. We had a bunch of stuff sell today. I'm going to do a packing live because people have been asking for that. And I'm also going to do a listing live at some point this week. So, but Nifty is what I use. I use it for literally everything. So I list from there. It's my cross lister, and it's also my my automation. So it does my Poshmark relists. It does my Poshmark shares. It does my offers. It does everything. So that's what I use. It's really great. Do you source from Marketplace or whatnot? I do not typically source. Sometimes I have sourced from Marketplace before. It is something that I don't do very often. But when I do find great deals, I have no problem with it. And then whatnot's very hit or miss. The problem that I have is because I have sold on whatnot before. A lot of people know who I am. And so they will show me pairs, then they want a lot of money for them, which is very fair. They're their items. They get to decide the price on them. But a lot of the times I don't find a lot of stuff to resell on whatnot. That's just how it works for me. Let's see. I think I'm getting caught up. I see you using the magic eraser. What are other brushes you're scrubbing with? I missed it earlier. No worries. So this is kind of funny. So this is a this is a wave enforcer for people that have waves in their hair. For some reason, I love this brush. I think it's just because my hand is rather large and it fits really good in my hands, and it allows me to just use it really well. And then my wife, for Christmas this year, bought me a shoe cleaning kit. It had this brush. It also had this brush as well. And that's what I use. But yeah, it's a wave enforcer one. What platforms do you cross list to? Great question. So I cross list to eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Depop. Those are the four I use. If we're ranking them in order, eBay is my number one by I think it's 60% of my business. Poshmark's about 30% of my business. Depop's about 8% of my business. And then Mercari is the other 2%. So we're getting to the very end. I appreciate you guys hanging out. We've probably got another 10 to 15 minutes left. This is longer than I normally clean for, but hopefully I've explained things and you're able to see things exactly how I do it. And yeah, but we are now to all of the military boots. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 military boots to clean. So and then that's it. So if you guys have any other questions while I'm cleaning these military boots, please let me know. But yeah, so Courtney, I use Nifty to cross list everything. It's the Nifty has all of those platforms and Etsy. I just don't with shoes. There's no real reason to list them on Etsy. They won't sell on there. But there is Etsy available on Nifty as well. So if you're interested, I just left a link in the chat, but I can send you a link as well. If not, but I appreciate you guys. It is 11:30 and there's 23 of y'all in here, and that means the world to me. So thank you so much for sticking around with me while I'm cleaning shoes. My goal is to be as helpful as I can be. So these quick little hour and a half lives will be more regular. You can blame Brad and you can blame Wayne because they pushed me to do it. So to blame him in a happy way, I guess, because we're back doing lives. You just won't see me as much. If you were to add another category to your business, which category would it be? Great question. Clothing, just purely on the basis that it's going to be a lot easier to store than anything else. I do not like listing clothing, so it wouldn't be something that I would do heavy, but I would be clothing, just purely on an access point. The stores that I go to, there's a lot more clothing than there are shoes, and if I really needed to add another category, I could add clothing. That's a great question, Xavier. See, Xavier's very good at asking questions. He's always in the lives, or always in my videos, asking questions and commenting, and I appreciate it. Here's somebody else that also is in the lives and in the things. Chic Retro Rewind. Wow, I cannot speak today. Thank you so much, as always, for being a part. I appreciate all of you for being a part. But thank you guys for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. You guys have helped me do my listings for tomorrow, or my photo, or I was going to say my photos, my cleaning for tomorrow. So technically, the only thing I got to do tomorrow is take photos of these guys and then list them. And then that's technically my day over. But I'll do more than that. So I think tomorrow I'm going to do a shipping live because I think I have like 22, 24 items going out the door tomorrow, which is great. So that'll be a good live for everybody to see what's selling for me, how much it sells for, stuff like that. So I'm going to try and do that early in the morning. That's my goal, is to do it earlier in the morning. Thanks to Wayne and Brad. I used to listen to your podcast and I missed your content. Hunter! Wow, you are an OG if you listen to the podcast. Yeah, that podcast was great. That podcast was a lot of fun. There's a world where that comes back. It might just be me doing it. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing that podcast. That podcast was a lot of fun. Obviously, Dalton has now grown up and has a kid and can't do it anymore. But thank you. That's fun that you guys, or that you listen to the podcast. I hope it was somewhat entertaining. I really enjoyed doing it. I found it a lot of fun. Maybe I'll bring the podcast back in a way where it's just me. I don't know. I thought about that. Thought that could be fun. People outsourcing, they could listen to me ramble about shoes or ramble about clothing. Bring random people on and do that. I know there's so many people that have podcasts now, but we were doing pretty good when we had it. I think we had like a couple hundred listeners at the time, which was cool. A lot of people listened on Spotify. A lot of people listened on Apple Music and all of the streaming platforms. You can still listen to it. I think it's still up. I don't think we ever took it down. But it was a fun deal. Very entertaining, and I learned a ton. Well, Hunter, I appreciate it. Thank you. That means the world. It's very rare that people have been around that long since the podcast. So thank you for listening. When you have like fraying on the white, I'm assuming, graying on the white sides of shoes near the soles, would that spray work on it, or is it just need the me clean thing? I think it's just like graying on the white sides. If you can use the magic eraser and it gets it off, great. I don't really understand the graying on the midsole. When you have the graying on the white sides of the shoes near the soles, would that spray work on it, or is it just so if it's like a graying thing and you can't use this, you might be able to use acetone. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. But a lot of the time, the magic eraser and the sneaker cleaner is great for that. I think next time I need to include my link in the title of the video, so that way it's a lot easier for people to to see it, because I don't even think I have a title for this. So sorry, that sucks. I think I just started a live. I don't even think I did it properly. I think I just started a live. There's not even a title on it. Wow. All right. We have, how many more boots do we have? So many army boots. I didn't really even explain these army boots. I explained it in the Facebook post, but on here, like marks on the sides, I feel like I can't get spots off the sides. So if the magic eraser doesn't work, sometimes spots are just not able to come off. Sometimes acetone works, but you just have to be careful with acetone, because acetone can also like react to certain materials really poorly. But let me kind of explain these boots. So these are military boots that are used for basic training for different branches. I think some of them are used for the Air Force, some of them are used for Army. But I've got all of these for $9.99 each, which is a great deal. So they're in really good condition, every single one of them, really good sizes. I think I got like 3 women's pairs, which was an accident, but I think they will sell at some point. And then I got everything sized from a 9 to a 14 on the men's shoes. And we've already sold, I think I picked up like 20 of them, 20 or 25 of them. And we've already sold 4. So I haven't even listed, this is the last batch of them. I listed a bunch today, and then this is all the batch for tomorrow, and then we will be out of listings for them, and then we'll just wait until they all sell. But there's a lot of storage involved with all of these because they're pretty big and they weigh a significant amount. Thanks for sharing info and answering questions. Enjoyed the live. Appreciate you, Josh. I appreciate you coming and hanging out. That means more to me than you will ever know. I was very afraid. I'm not going to lie. I messaged Brad and Wayne. I said, I am a little scared because I haven't been on live in a very long time. I was a little scared that nobody was going to show up. I'm not even going to lie. And I said, I'm going to be sitting here talking to myself for a long time. And they said, even if you are, just show up and do it. And I said, okay. So that was my goal, was to show up and do it. So I think I did an okay job. Let's see. What was the next question? Like, how many hours a week do you work on reselling, counting going to thrift stores, cleaning, take pics, listing, and shipping? So, great question. On average, let's call it a day, right? So, I typically source 1 day a week. Unless I have to, I'll source another day. So, let's count sourcing. We'll do like today. Today's a great example. So, my day starts at 6:30 a.m. typically, sometimes before then. Typically, I like to start around 5, but that's to go to the gym. That's to do other stuff. And then my day will start technically in here. So everything is in here. So shipping takes about 25-30 minutes. So I was out the door today at 7:45-ish. And that's when I started sourcing. I got home at 1:30. And then, so that's what? 6 hours? Technically 7 hours already. And then I came home and then I cleaned the rest of the shoes that I needed to for today. And then I finished at 5 o'clock. So I worked a lot longer than a majority of people do. I worked over 12 hours today, but I loved every second of it. I didn't feel like I was killing myself. I didn't feel like I was stressing about it. I felt exactly what I wanted to get out of the day. And tonight was an extra bonus. Like, I didn't need to work tonight. I was going to work on this tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning. But yeah, I got encouraged to start doing lives again. And so I was like, whatever. We'll do a cleaning live for an hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes. And so today's going to be like a 14-hour day. But typically a day for me is from around 6 to about 2:30. So 8 hours times. I don't work on Sundays, so I'll prep stuff and get everything prepared for Sundays on Saturday or Friday or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I work more than way more than 40 hours a week. I think last week I ended up doing like over 100 hours. That's because I love it and it's fun for me. And the more I work on it, the more I feel happy about what I do. So I know that's not like that for a lot of people, but there's not a consistent, like, I don't clock in at 9 and then stop at 5. This job kind of follows me around. So that's a long-winded answer. But that is the answer that I got for you. I can't believe it. There's 26 people just sitting in here. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. We got 2 more pairs of boots after this one, and then we're done. So if you guys have any more rolling questions, please let me know. And I guess you guys can see me. I don't know if anybody's seen me today. So hi. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. This really means the world to me, especially the fact that there's 25 people sitting in a room watching me clean shoes. That's beyond me. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you for sticking around and watching that. And I hope that what I do is helpful for you in some way, whether that's pique an interest about reselling or help you on your business or whatever it is. I really appreciate you guys sticking around. So thank you. So we'll get back. That way you don't have to see me. You can actually get to the shoes and cleaning part. I will say, I will encourage everybody, get a towel. Get a towel. Because if you do this on straight things, you get dirt and grime all over your work area, and it is not fun to clean up. Get a towel. It's easy to dump out. That is my suggestion. Christopher Mosqueda said, I think that's how you pronounce your name, whatnot. It is something that I'm definitely thinking about. I think the biggest thing for me is I'm kind of waiting on Nifty to introduce whatnot into their platform, so I can move all of my listings over there, so it makes my job a lot easier, because I would love to just sell out of my inventory. So I'd love to have my inventory behind me in the videos and just be like, hey, like literally look up the buy it now shop. The prices are not what the prices are. Just let me know which ones you're interested in. We can do bundle deals, stuff like that. I would love to do it, but I'm not going to transfer over 1,500 listings just to then have to do it all over again. I need it connected so that way once it sells, I don't have to worry about it. It's already delisted off the other platforms. That's what I want. So Wayne has said, I have been here the whole time, by the way. I've only fell asleep twice. Well, Wayne, I actually as much as I like to make fun of you for being short and being not as funny as me and being old, I do appreciate you being here. And I also am very grateful that you shouted me out. That was very kind, and you didn't need to do that. So thank you. And yeah, I do appreciate you. And I am glad that you are seeing a bunch of success. As much as I like to mess with you, I am glad that whatnot is working out for you really well. And all the other videos and stuff like that, as much as it pains me to say that. eBay bought Depop. Yes, it did. And for me, that is crazy. So when I went to, a lot of you don't, I guarantee a lot of you probably haven't been here for a long time. 2 years ago in August, July, I don't know if it's been 2 years. I spoke at eBay Open, and one of the best experiences of my life was to go and speak there and meet eBay executives. I got to meet the CEO of eBay, got to meet Jamie, I got to meet all of those people. Like, it was one of the coolest experiences of my life. And when I went there, there was a conversation about Depop. And it was very cool to see what they were thinking about in terms of that platform, and their eyes on it based on the vintage side. And Depop was definitely doing more of the vintage side and streetwear and stuff like that. And eBay had a real big interest in it. And they've done a bunch of ads, if you've seen it, about streetwear and vintage and stuff like that. And I think eBay buying Depop is a step in the right direction for Depop, because it means that, yes, they're now a part of the eBay universe, kind of like the Marvel universe, but they're now a part of the eBay universe, which should mean managed payments, which also should mean that whenever you accept an offer on Depop, at some point they should be changing it over so that way it's automatic payments, which would be amazing because I would make so much money on Depop, like an abhorrent amount of money on Depop if everybody accepted the offers that they sent. Because like today alone, I think I've accepted 50 offers and I've only sold like 6 items today on Depop. Like, oh, it would be amazing. So I'm hoping that that's what happens for this merger. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. Any tips with cleaning suede or removing spots from suede? Great question. I don't have any for you. I am going to be the most honest person here. I don't pick up shoes that have bad suede issues. There are suede cleaners out there. I don't have any recommendations because I don't use one, but I know that there are people that use it. So YouTube is probably going to be your best friend. If you got TikTok, I'm sure that there's videos out there on how to do it. I don't have it. This is what I got. I typically don't do it. So, yes, I hate that people would make offers and don't pay. I think that's because they see the shipping afterwards. Yes and no. I think so. I mean, I don't know how many times you guys have actually used Depop to buy stuff on there. I used to buy a lot of Disney stuff. So I used to buy like Disney shirts, vintage Disney stuff. I still have a bunch of them. But I would buy them on there just because they're a little bit cheaper than eBay. And when you go into it, you can make an offer and have no guarantee that you have to pay for it. It just says, oh, just make an offer. But I agree. The shipping does take away from people, but it's that expensive normally for calculated. So I'm not really sure why people are concerned that much about shipping. Yeah, I don't know. But I kid you not. I think I've had like 40 people today send offers. I've accepted probably 30 of them. I only had like 4 or 5 sales this morning. I think I had 1 this evening. And that wasn't even from an offer. That was from Nifty sending them an offer and them accepting it. So, yeah, I hope that they add managed payments because there is a world, and I'm not even joking about this, there is a world where if I could get all of the people that send me offers on Depop to accept it, it could take over Poshmark for me. It's kind of wild. And I don't know if that's everybody's experience or if that's just my experience, but I need Depop managed payments. I think I'm caught up on the chat finally. Is it just me, but Hoka, Brooks, and On Cloud shoes are not selling as fast as they used to and also going down in price? What do you think? Great question. And that's going to probably be one of the final ones unless people have random last minute questions, answers, stuff like that. Yes, they are going down in price, which is okay. That is what happens with certain brands. I'm actually done, I think. Yeah, I'm good. I'm done. So hi, you're going to talk to me for a second. Yes, Brooks, they are going down in price. The newer models, they're still really good in price. That is a thing that like the newer models are always going to sell for more. That's just a given. For any of those brands. Now, certain brands hold pretty good value. You can typically sell as long as they're in good condition. They've got good tread. They're not really ugly. There's stuff like that. You can typically sell it for like $40 to $50. Any of those brands. And you can sell for more, sometimes a little bit less, but they typically sell in and around that range. Now, for me, that's really good. I'll take that all day long. But like you were saying, I think a lot of brands do have nature flows. Like a great example. Let me see if I can find a pair of shoes that would make sense for this. Okay. So, very cool pair of shoes. I love them. They're Disney. Whatever. Vans used to sell really well for me. They would sell quickly for like $35 to $50, depending on the thing, especially these Walt Disney ones or other collabs. They would sell so fast. Converse is the same thing. Now, these take an age to sell, and the only reason why I got them was because they were like $2. But for me, it's all about the market. So you have to make sure that when you go, just because 6 months ago, they would like a certain model would sell for $60. It doesn't sell for that anymore. Stuff moves, like stuff changes, the market changes. So you just have to be aware of that. You have to be aware of the models, that sort of thing. All right, Xavier might have the last question unless anybody's got any last minute question. Do you take any creases? No. I used to. So good example. Let me see. So these types of shoes, these free runs, these when you could crush them, they in the older models. I'm talking. This is like 5 years ago, but in the older models, these would like crush, so they get a little bit smaller. You could take a heat gun. So take one of these. I have it. Take a heat gun, and you could heat up the midsole, and it would get rid of the creases. I don't do that anymore. I also don't pick up shoes that have that many creases in it, anyways. But I also feel like it's a little shady to like take out the creases because then people expect it to be perfect, and then they've been used pretty significantly or they've been used pretty good. So, all right. As long as there's no other questions, let me just break this down real quickly. We did an hour and 20 minutes worth of cleaning, which normally so it's double the amount of time that it takes me normally. So I'm usually in and out in about 40 minutes worth of time. But hopefully you guys were able to learn a little bit more about what I do, how I clean, stuff like that. I really appreciate you being here. Hopefully this was insightful for you. Hopefully you learned a little bit and or you had a little bit of fun. I really appreciate you guys being here. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to try and do a packing live before the 2 monsters get on. So if you enjoy watching Brad's videos and watching his lives and packing, or if you really enjoy Wayne's videos and him packing, I'm going to try and get up before both of them and do packing live. So that way you can see exactly what I'm selling in terms of shoes. Let me tell you the exact amount that we have tomorrow as of 11:48 at night. eBay, we have 7 orders on eBay. And then on Depop, Poshmark, and Mercari, we have 15. So we got 22 orders going out tomorrow. So should be a pretty good live. It will not be an hour and 20 minutes. It'll probably be like 40 minutes worth of shipping. I'll go ahead and pull those items. And that will be my plan for tomorrow. So I will see you guys potentially tomorrow. Last question. What was the spray you were using? Grandma's Sneaker Cleaner. Tammy, I have a link to it in my bio in my page. If you go to if you click my head somewhere, wherever it is, and then you go to the page bio, there's a link to like all the stuff that I use, and it's right there. This is what I use. I appreciate you guys asking all the questions, keeping me not bored. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys